Before we get too far into the new decade, we wanted to take one last look back at the old decade, particularly the best-selling music from Bull Moose of Maine musicians. Now, these are physical units sold, CDs, albums, things like that. The guys who compiled the list are here with us, Mick Pratt and Chris Brown. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you.
Hey, yeah, good to be here.
Got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into it. Again, the top 10 musical artists in terms of best-selling physical products at Bull Moose, and the first one is the exception because it's not really a musician. The other 9 are Damnation Land came in number 10 on this sales list.
Right, so that is, people may remember, that's the film festival of locally made horror movies. That's at the State Theater all the time. So that's the DVDs and the Blu-rays that they put out every year. And also there was one year a compilation, a CD compilation of songs that were used.
Number 9 on the list?
Yep.
We'll get to the musicians right now. Don Campbell.
Don Campbell, yeah. He's a singer-songwriter, local. He does Christmas concerts every year. He's performed at the Mill Creek store. I think he was even at the mall this past year. You're kind of just like walking down the mall and you hear
performed everywhere.
Yeah, he's like great. He's so great. Yeah.
Okay, we jumped to 8 and 7, Zach Jones and Spencer Albee.
Maybe a more dynamic duo.
Yeah, right. So obviously former bandmates in As Fast As together, but each doing their own thing. Zach's out west a lot, but both of them great musicians. I mean, totally, of course they're on here.
Right.
Zach Jones was also recently on the show because he was part of the proposal video, right?
I believe that's right.
He was.
Yeah, good memory.
Wonderful singer.
You're a good 207 viewer.
Chris Ross came in at number 6. Who's Chris?
He's
This is Chris.
Me? That's Chris.
I just asked you who's Chris.
Yeah, there you go. Right, so Chris Ross is a singer-songwriter from Bangor area, more or less, Ellsworth. So he was huge up there. Did about 3 albums, one a year, for just had a great run there. Super popular.
Number 5 on the list, a band called Dead Season.
Dead Season. They're like, we were actually discussing in the car ride over whether or not they counted as nu metal or hard rock or some sort of like mixture of the two of them. But they're from like the Oxford County area, like super big. Interesting fact about Dead Season, they're actually the #1 selling local artist of all time. But only number 5 this decade because they sold a ton of stuff in the previous decade.
Wow.
That's impressive.
And people may remember them because they wrote an album about their mother's cancer. Which, like, when they would play at the Lewiston Bull Moose, I remember people just crying. It really grabbed people, and that's when A&R people started calling us, "Who's this band?" And they just...
Yeah, because they would show up on like national sales charts.
Yes, because
they would sell so well locally.
Quite a story.
Yeah.
All right, number 4 on the list, the Mallet Brothers Band. Everybody loves the Mallet Brothers Band.
Yeah, right. So...
Yeah, everyone loves them. That's what more to say. They're great. They're great.
Beginning and end of that conversation. And number 3, the Rustic Overtones.
Yep. Another, I mean, who doesn't love the Rustic Overtones, too? They had the new album and then the LP reissue, the Dave Noyes Memorial Edition LP of Rooms by the Hour. It was a pretty special release.
Number 2 is a band that 10 years ago hadn't been formed. So this is a true band that represents the decade, and boy, these guys are one impressive success story, the Ghost of Paul Revere.
Yeah, I mean they do well outside of Maine, so they're not considering how big they are. If you don't see them around a lot, it's because they're
on Fallon this year, right? Or was that last year?
Something like that, yeah.
And they're headed to Europe in, I think, February or something. Seriously, they're going to tour in Europe for a few weeks. So we think of them as our band. They are a Maine band, but these guys have really gone big in just a matter of a few years. All right, number 1. The top-selling local artist of the decade.
King of Maine. King of Maine,
Spose.
Yeah. Buoyed by record sales, CD sales, book sales. He wrote a kid's book published in both hardcover and softcover this decade.
Just a lyric book.
A lyric book.
Back when,
a cross-stitch collection.
And one of his songs has in it the 207 opening theme.
Well, and see, there you go.
Well, I was going to say, so many of these people's careers have been boosted by their appearance on 207, right?
Yeah, definitely.
One common denominator.
I actually have one of Spose's coffee mugs on my desk as we speak.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah. All right, that's a cool list. Guys, thanks for coming in. We'll look forward to seeing who the big artists are in the decade to come. Stay with us. We're going to be back with more of 207 in just a moment.